science of fiqh. I don't have to read it because you see it. Fiqh means understanding. In its technical sense, it's the science of applying the Quran and the Hadith to the changing spiritual, personal, communal situations. I think it's a point I should have made earlier, and that is law is not sacred. No law is sacred. It's a human endeavor. Okay? The Quran is sacred, and there are sacred texts, and there are things that have an origin in the Quran and Sunnah, but the law, any kind of law, but particularly in Islam, the fiqh or the schools of law, none of that should ever be called sacred. They're human endeavors, and humans are always fallible. Okay. So, which is why Muslims have never agreed there is a single fiqh. We agree that we will never agree on everything. And we agreed that disagreement is okay. Now that doesn't mean that you give up your understanding. Because the rule also is that if you are convinced of a given position, it is binding on you. But it is not binding on anybody else. Here is the way I can summarize it. I can say every person who follows a given school of law can say to the other one, I believe I'm right, and I believe you're wrong, but I accept the possibility that you may be right and I may be wrong. Okay? I'm not going to try to convert you. You don't convert people if you don't think they're wrong. I mean, they have the right to change their mind. I mean, you will see Khalid tomorrow. I think he's coming tomorrow evening. He was a Shafi'i who became a Maliki. Yeah. I'm a Hanafi, and almost all of the scholars that I know from the United States and Europe are Malikis. And of course, we talk about the differences, but we don't try to convert each other. You don't convert people unless they think they belong to a different religion. So Muslims of different schools of law are not different religions. They just disagree about things, and we think disagreement is okay. Okay? So, and actually, what may be the law today may not be the law tomorrow. And as a matter of fact, what may be the law in Egypt is not necessarily the law in Pakistan. Okay? So people sitting in Jeddah or Mecca thinking that what they are doing is the law that everybody should follow, that is not the tradition of Islam. Okay? You don't go around telling people, some African American Muslims today resent the fact that these immigrants come and they tell them, well, here is Islam and you must do that. And my African American friends who are scholars, they say, don't tell me what Islam is. I practice what I think I should practice. Okay? So you don't go as a foreigner or whoever you are and tell other people what their religion should be. any more than you are a superpower and you go other people and say, hey, this Islam you are following is not the right Islam. I'll tell you what the right Islam is. Okay? And every self-respecting society will say, you don't tell me what my religion is. I follow what my religion tells me my religion, as I understand it. Okay? Do we disagree? Yeah, but it's okay to disagree. Anyways, so that's what fiqh is. So, I don't know why I did this, but it is an applied science, I said. It requires knowledge and understanding of what? Quran, its language, its context of revelation, and the Prophet's exposition on it. If someone asked the Prophet, what does this ayah mean? And he gave it an answer, then you have no right to change it. I'll give you a very interesting example. When the ayahs came to say, perform Hajj. Yeah? Perform Hajj. And Quran doesn't say anything more. So the people came to the Prophet and said, O Prophet of God, do we have to do it every year? And he turned his face away, and the guy come around and says, well, do we have to do it every year? So the third time the Prophet said, if I answer you, then it becomes requirement. The Quran is silent about it. Leave it as that. Okay? So even though the Quran says perform Hajj, it doesn't say perform it every year. Okay? So it becomes once in your lifetime. If you can afford it, well, the Quran says that. Okay. How many rakat of prayer should I read? Well, there's a minimum, but it's recommended that you read the extra. Do I have to read all that extra stuff? No. Mm-hmm. And there's a rule in law itself, in the Prophet example himself. Don't ask about things where the answer may harm you. Don't be nosy. Okay? Don't go around to your neighbor's house who have invited you for dinner and say, oh, is this meat halal? Well, assume it is, and if you're doubtful, just don't eat it.